GB Racing, world-class motorcycle protection.
GB Racing Sportsman and Elite 600, one of the premier classes of the Thundersport Championship, will come to the grid with, after qualifying, Alex Baker on pole position. Max Wadsworth will complete the middle of the front row, and Lee McLaughlin on the outside. Row 2, Ash Milburn, Dan Freer, and the reigning champion, Will Wyatt. The lights as we are about to go racing, and it is a good clean start from the front of the grid. Down towards Old Hall they come, and into Cascades for the first time, just nipping up the inside. That's Baker from Hodgson. Hodgson up from 7th on the grid, Dan Freer 3rd, Wadsworth 4th, and Ash Milburn completing the top 5. Into Hizzies, and no change, it is Baker from Hodgson as the rest of the front runners come through. Somebody just making a mistake on the pit wall, lots of signing and cheering going on, but Baker is missing our race leader, and that means Hodgson will now lead Dan Freer, as we see here, with Max Wadsworth in 3rd position, all in very close company as they go down through Hizzies. Hodgson, fantastic start to his season, and a little bit of a moment here for Andy Guy, the number 2 machine, as he tries to make the move on Arnie Shelton, but luckily keeps the bike pointing in the right direction and gets into the first part of the chicane. Across the line, Hodgson under pressure from Freer now. Wadsworth can do no more than just watch as he goes through. Down into Cascades and up the inside. Hodgson leaves the door a little bit open. Freer takes the running. Hodgson then still with a lot of work to do in that 2nd place, and as we look across, the 147 machine of Will Shaw goes through. He leads the sportsman category and will in fact go on to take the victory. Freer, Hodgson, no change as they come down through Hizzies again, and if anything, Freer is opening in that gap at the front. Max Wadsworth unable to make any impression, and that's Ash Milburn goes down from around about 6th or 7th place. Ash Milburn walking away perfectly okay. Leaders though back across the line. The first 3 go through, and then we've got a bit of a gap before we get to another couple of trios. Some great racing going on down the field. Hodgson still there in 2nd place. Freer makes a little bit of a mistake there, just ran in a little deep on the 2nd part of the corner, and Freer will go up under the Oulton Park Bridge on his way to collect the checkered linen to take his first win of the day. Will Hodgson 2nd, and 3rd will be Max Wadsworth. Onto the podium, there is Dan Freer, and in the sportsman, Will Shaw. The 2nd leg of GB Racing Sportsman and 600 Elites is on the grid, and already the lights go out, and we have a very smooth start from everybody at the front end. We go on board with Ben Tolliday as Kate Furway takes the back end of Tolliday, but down with him has gone Mike Hall and Thomas Burnett. Tolliday continues, but at the front end it's very much the race is on. As you can see, up the inside of Hodgson has gone Baker, but Hodgson's having none of that, and Max Wadsworth creeps through as well. Baker though takes the number 1 spot from Hodgson as they go across the line with Wadsworth and Freer in 4th. Further down the order, still sorting themselves out, but no doubt about it, at the front it is the 55 machine of Baker that leads them through, and Hodgson in the middle of the sandwich with Freer and Wadsworth in 4th position as they go almost nose to tail through the left-hander at Hizzies and on to complete another lap. Oh, and somebody takes the time. That's 147. That's Will Shaw out of it. So one of the favourites for the sportsman has crashed out. Unfortunately, rider perfectly okay. Baker leads, but Freer has made the move now on Hodgson. Max Wadsworth can do nothing about it as they come down through Cascades. And again, we have a nice slow-mo of them coming down through Hizzies, the top 5 all together, and on their way up and over the hill towards the checkered flag. However, Hodgson will crash out on the final corner and not score any points in this double pointer. At the flag then, it's going to be Baker by a whisker from Freer and Wadsworth in third.
I threw it away in race 1 when I was in the lead, so determined not to make the same mistake, and yeah, I knew they wouldn't be far behind me, and yeah, the pressure has felt all the way through that, but I'm made up with the result.
Alex Baker takes the victory in the elites. Pete Riches will do the same in the sportsman with Tom Collins and Lee McLaughlin. Championship points then for the 600. Hodgson still leads on 115 from Dan Freer on 97 and Max Wadsworth on 66. Pete Riches up into 4th on 62. For the sportsman, it's Pete Riches that leads the championship, though more importantly on 120, Will Shaw on 93 and James Hind on 86.
GB Racing, world-class motorcycle protection.
The Rideworks Golden Era Superbike and TW Suspension GP1 Classic comes to the grid after the qualifying. Ryan Strafford will be on pole with Richie Thornton filling the middle of the second row and Sam Cox alongside him. So the Superbike in the middle of the 2 GP1 Classics. Seb Spires leads the Cup runners. He will be back on position number 5. A nice clean start from the 3 on the front row, and it's going to be any one of those 3 that lead as they come down into Cascades, and it is Richie Thornton that's made the early lead. Thornton's got away with Strafford in 2nd, Stanier 3rd, Sam Cox will be 4th, and Seb Spires in 5th position. No change then in the top 3 as they come over, but Spires has moved up a position. Watling is into 5th, and Sam Cox down to 6th, so a little mistake somewhere from Sam Cox, I think, with a bit of work to do now. We go over the stripe, and again, no change in that order. They go through, pit boards again coming out, giving the riders the very important information. We're on board now with Ryan Strafford, chasing Richie Thornton, looking to make the move. Will he be able to pull it off? Well, if you look to the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that's exactly what he does. So Ryan Strafford, Yorkie boy, takes up the running on that lovely prepared number 57 machine. Richie Thornton on the Kawasaki down there into 2nd position, but of course Thornton still leads his class. 114 next up is John Wright. He is running in 7th on the track, but will finish in 6th position as the leaders go through. Again, no change in the order at the front. Stratford still under pressure from Thornton. Thornton looking to make a move should Straffy make the slightest little bit of a mistake. But on this occasion, that is not going to be the case. Strafford opens up the gap and disappears. Some good battles still going on all the way down the field as we come to the closing stages. A checkered flag comes out. Strafford will take the victory from Thornton. GP1 Classics then, Ryan Strafford on the top step, Martin Stanier 2nd and John Wright 3rd. For the Superbikes, it's Richie Thornton from Jordan Watling and 3rd Kieran Smith, and for the Cup it will be Sebastian Spires. Second outing then for the Golden Era Superbikes GP1 Classics and the Cup, and Happy Straffy on pole, having taken the victory earlier on. Lights on, lights out. Oh, and Straffy's made an absolutely diabolical start from pole, goes down to about 10th or 11th position as everybody else gets away cleanly. Luckily avoiding him, it's Richie Thornton that will lead them down through, with Seb Spires in second position, and then Martin Stanier third. Jordan Watling looked to be fourth, and down into the chicane they come, and just looking, there's Ryan Strafford down in seventh position, just behind Greg Lewis. So Straffy having started to make the recovery from that very poor start. Lewis is the next target, and we're actually on board with Ryan Strafford as he comes up alongside Greg Lewis and disposes of Greg, moving through into sixth position. Oh, at the end of lap one though, look at this, Richie Thornton smoking heavily. His race will be run because he will retire out of it very, very shortly indeed. Luckily, no fluid on the track, and that led to Seb Spires taking over the lead, being chased by the 1-2-1 machine of Martin Stanier. On board again with Ryan Strafford as he goes past Jordan Watling, moving through up into third position. So very much on the case is Yorkie Boy. Up and over the stripe they go, down towards Old Hall. Again, the pit boards come out, and here is a move by Martin Stanier on Seb Spires. Spires relegated to second as Stanier now takes up the running. Chasing very hard behind though, you will just catch a glimpse, and in fact we're on board now with Ryan Strafford as he comes alongside Seb Spires and moves through into second position. Martin Stanier at the front, now having the full attention of Yorkie Boy tucked in behind him with a couple of laps to go. Seb Spires unable to stay with the very hot pace at the front, but having a tremendous ride with the orange jacket. 96, Kieran Smith goes through, running 7th on the road. He will finish second in class. As the leaders come over the line, no change. It is Stanier from Strafford and Spires, the 1-2-3. The rest of the pack still battling further down the order, and we're back on board with Ryan Strafford, and that's Martin Stanier. Past Martin Stanier then to take the lead. Straffy looking for the second victory of the day. Stanier goes through, and that gap is increasing at the front. Ryan Strafford on his way then to that second victory, and the spoils of the winner's circle up over the hill for the final time. And here it is, the checkered flag, as the first two go across the line. Stanier could not fight back. Ryan Strafford takes the spoils again then. In the Superbike category, it is Jordan Watling on the top step, and finally in the Cup, Seb Spires. Championship points, Ryan Strafford leads on 186 for the GP1 Classics, with Martin Stanier in second and John Wright third on 116. For the Golden Era Superbikes, Jordan Watling now moves to the top of the pile on 166 from Richie Thornton, just 16 points adrift on 150, and Kieran Smith on 119. For the GP1 Cup, Sebastian Spires leads on 200 points from Aaron Collins on 125. Steve Bentley now third on 103. Oulton Park, round 2 of the Blackbird Corporate Golden Era Supersport and Steel Sports Championship. And some great racing we've seen so far in the first round. And after qualifying, the grid will form as follows. Andy Windsor on pole on the Comet Classics Yamaha. And alongside him will be number 315, Ashley Thompson. Completing the front row will be Andy Scanlon, number 24. And it's time to go racing. Watch the lights, but keep your eyes fixed on the 315 machine of Ashley Thompson, creeping, and that, in fact, was given a jump start penalty, but unfortunately not until after the race was it applied. So down into Cascades for the first time, and Windsor and Harrison, a good little run there off the second row, already up into second position. But Andy Windsor, it is that leads them away up to Shell for the first time. Windsor, Harrison, then it's Thompson, then it looked to be the number 12 machine next in there. That would be Ian Lawton, and Scanlon just going through, having made a rather poor start on the 24 Yamaha, but now putting his race back together. Somebody taking a tumble there. That's 338. That's Dave Parkinson. As you can see, rider perfectly okay. The leaders are across the stripe again, and Andy Windsor getting away at the front quite nicely from Richie Harrison, and Thompson still there in third. This is Andy Windsor, and with it, during the course of the race, he sets a new lap record, a 1:46.973. We're now on board with Ian Lawton as we come down through Shell. And Ollie McRae has made the move on Lawton, as has Craig Ruckley. Lawton losing out a couple of places down through his, and we're back on board this time with Andy Kitchen as he gets launched skywards, and that is going to be the end of his race. No problems for Windsor though, he is still at the front with Harrison chasing hard behind. And Harrison unable to close that gap down on Windsor. Windsor got his sights set on that top space on the podium. This is Thompson and Scanlon, but of course Thompson still has that 10-second penalty to be applied, and Scanlon now on the charge, making his way through to third position on the road. Mark Biswell leads the steel framers, and right behind him is 65 Dave Langley. Biswell again down through his on an absolutely superb looking machine. Checkered flag time, Andy Windsor takes the win from Richie Harrison and Andy Scanlon.
Oh, really happy with it. TW done a smashing job on the bike. All my mechanics, Rob Goodall, John and Clive, just rebuilt the engine again. And my sponsors, Comet Classics, Martin and Ray. Couldn't do it without them, so this one's for them. Hopefully we'll do another one.
Ashley Thompson on the podium, but relegated to fifth after the introduction of his start penalty. And Mark Biswell takes the honours in the steel framers. Race 2 of the Blackboard Corporate Golden Era Supersports and Steel Sports comes to the grid. And a great shot there of Richie Harrison. He will be looking to improve on his earlier result, and just watching as well, Thompson leaving there, a good clean start for him, so no jump start penalty. And Harrison has got the power down early, takes the lead from Windsor, McRae, Thompson, and then I think it's Andy Scanlon. Such a better start than his first race then. Scanlon already up into fifth position. Change at the front, Windsor has gone to the number 1 spot, having making the move on Harrison. McRae leads Thompson through for third and fourth position. Windsor leads across the line with Harrison in tow, but behind, look, Thompson really got the gas down hard as he tries to get the better of McRae at the end of that lap, and down into his. The first two go through, and you can see Thompson now up into third, relegating McRae down to fourth. And can Harrison make the move then on Windsor as well as Thompson? This is the 34 machine. That's Adrian Teasdale. Good to see Adrian Teasdale, having recovered from a big crash at Donington Park. We are now on board with Ryan Garside. Ryan going past Dave Langley on his way to the front of the steel framers. Absent this time is Mark Biswell, the winner from race 1. Andy Windsor, as you can see, coming under some heavy pressure as well now from Richie Harrison in the middle of the three-way battle. That is the top 3 podium positions. And again, on board with Ryan Garside. He makes up a couple of places as the riders in front of him go straight on and outbreak themselves, although they do rejoin, and Garside will go through to finish in 10th position. Checkered flag time, and Andy Windsor takes it from Richie Harrison across the line, and Thompson will be third. Windsor taking the laurels, and in the steel framers, Ryan Garside. Championship points then for the Supersport. Richie Harrison at the top of the leaderboard on 170. Andy wins the second on 141. And Andy Scanlon on 121. For the steel framers, it's Dave Langley now at the top of the pile on 141 points from Brad Davey on 123 and Ryan Garside third on 82. Welcome to Oulton Park for the Michelin Tyres Thundersport GP1 Elite and Monex GP1 Sportsman. The machines in the paddock area being prepared ready for this first outing of the big class, and sitting there on pole number 71, Phil Crow. Alongside him, number 8, Michael Evans, and completing the front row will be Lee Williams, the double champion from 17 and 16. However, watch John Ingram, didn't qualify and comes off the back of the grid. Good clean start, everybody up towards Old Hall for the first time. Michael Evans takes the early lead from Phil Crow, sitting there in second position. Those two breaking away just a little from Lee Williams. Williams, though, looking to move up to second and will take that second place now as Evans makes his mistake and loses 2 or 3 places and will rejoin in 5th position, just in front of Jordan Rushman. At the line, though, Crow it is leads from Williams, Harry Truelove, Chris Barnes and the recovering Evans in 5th. On board now with Paul Charman, and that is John Ingram from the back of the grid, already cutting his way through the pack, down and over Deers Leap. Ingram, after a disastrous qualifying session, which lasted just a quarter of a lap, now on his way with his eyes set on a podium finish, but a lot of work to do in between here and the checkered flag. Phil Crow comes down into his, a brilliant shot of Phil going through there, taking a lap record in the process during this race, a 1:38.479 from John Ingram, the previous lap record holder, as Paul Charman leads the battle for 8th position. Great little scrap going on here. Behind Charman is the number 10 machine of Paul Scranage. And in 3rd place, Michael Evans under heavy pressure from John Ingram, looking for that podium. Liverpudlian Lee Williams on the High-Tex Coatings machine on the Michelin tyres goes through a lonely 2nd place, and look, Ingram has made that move on Evans up to 3rd position. So Evans now trying to fight back, but John Ingram certainly got the bit between his teeth in this race, having started from the very final place on the grid. Over the line they go, and it is a great win for Phil Crow. 2nd, Lee Williams, and 3rd, John Ingram. And Michael Austin takes the honours for the Sportsman. Machines on the grid for the 2nd race of the day then, and Lee Williams looking to go one better this time. The reigning champion looking back through the grid there. We can't even see John Ingram, way back in the trees. The lights are out and we are racing for the 2nd time in the GP1 Championship down towards Cascades, and it's Michael Evans that's taken up the early lead, with Lee Williams dropping into 2nd and Phil Crow 3rd as the rest of the pack come through. And there is Ingram already up into 23rd position. So Ingram already on the chart. Evans, Williams, Crow, the first 3 down into his, and we're looking back now. This is lap 2, and there's Ingram up to 12th position. Very fired up then, John Ingram, after failing to qualify on the front row. A problem there for the Sportsman, and that is Austin just going through. Over the line again, Evans now under some real severe pressure. Evans from Crow, and at that point Crow just about nudges in front but makes the mistake and out breaks himself at the chicane, leaving the door wide open for Evans, and Williams in 2nd. On board with Brendan Malinder now. A great little run this is as well, with Barry Evans. Good battles all the way down the order. And again, now Williams is pushing on hard, looking for that #1 spot. But Evans just got the advantage still at the moment. And we look now to the sportsman. 991, Michael Austin it is that leads from number 11, Will Harper, who will go on to take the victory. 1 lap to go then, and Williams leads across the stripe. His team celebrate. True Love under heavy pressure from Ingram. Ingram again will go through to that final podium position. Chris Barnes in 5th position, but again will succumb to the pressure from Phil Crowe before they get to the checkered linen. Lee Williams through again the left and right of his, being chased by Michael Evans. You can see the gap there. And at the checkered flag, Williams has increased that gap a little further.
Really happy for the first win for Lee and the Willow team, and a wonderful race and a wonderful day. Yeah.
Lee Williams takes the victory, and with it the Adam Boyle Trophy. Onto the sportsman, Will Harper it is on the top step. Championship points, Phil Crowe now leads on 126 from John Ingram on 118, Lee Williams on 97. The sportsman points, Will Harper with that win now up onto 130. Second, Michael Austin on 120 and Rob Smith on 79. Round 2 of the Thundersport 500 Elite Sportsmen and Seniors here on a very sunny Oulton Park. After a very frantic qualifying session, Angus Goff, number 17, will be on pole from 52, Tony Wastenage, and completing the front row, one of the 500 favourites for many years now, 121, Josh Leaning. Graham Freer, Dan Swift and John O'Toole will make up row 2. That is the 121 machine of Josh Leaning. Watch the lights and we will go racing. Great shot there of Tony Wastenage. A little bit quick off the mark, maybe Angus Goff. But everybody cleanly away from the start on this first lap. Down through Cascades, Goff it is that leads. And the rest of the pack comes streaming through. A lot of places being made up further down the order. Graham Freer could be one of the favourites, and there is Graham Freer now, the 191 machine, just leading that little pack through, and I think he may even be already up into the lead position. Tony Wastenage, 52 still in there. Somebody goes through the chicane. I think that was Dan Swift, the number 7. Signals coming out all the way through, off the pit wall, lots of action, lots of CB 500s, the 17 machine there of Angus Goff on the GFAB Racing sponsored machine, being chased by the 121 of Josh Leaning. Graham Freer just a few yards in front of them as they went through. On board with Liam Kirk and Justin Leonard. This was a race-long battle, however, it wasn't to finish well for Leonard. Kirk still pushing hard there, and here is the lead battle as well. Graham Freer up in front of Angus Goff down through his. This battle went on, swapping places over the laps. Tony Wastenage now closing in on the back of Will Leaning as well. Nice little slow-mo shot of Tony. The next pair we see are the race victors in the seniors. 321 Chris Kingham and 86 Matt Shaw, and the second finisher in the seniors, Brett Haley. We're on board with Liam Kirk, and we can see the demise then of Justin Leonard as he goes down. up towards the line, and look at this battle for the lead. 0.06 of a second. Angus Goff takes it.
It was close. It was a brilliant race, back and forth the whole way, and I managed to just stick behind, knew where I could go, and then thankfully it worked out. I'm well happy.
Onto the podiums then for the elite class. It is Angus Goff, our winner, Graham Freer and Josh Leaning taking third. For the seniors, it is Chris Kingham, Brett Haley and Adrian Teasdale. And for the sportsmen, it is Matt Shaw, Adam Campion and Liam Kirk. Already onto the grid then for race 2. And that is Angus Goff sitting on pole, looking to make it 2 wins out of 2. The lights are out, and well, a very good start from one of the leanings. Everybody away down towards Old Hall, and they come through Denton's, and it is the very quick starting 121 machine of Josh Leaning at the front. Angus Goff has tucked in now into second place, and it looked possibly to be Graham Freer in third, but already Freer's made the move up into that second shot further down the order. Still lots of battles going on. Wastage is stuck in there, as is the 87 machine of Jodie Chalk. Good to see Jodie, one of our female riders, still there. Starting to sort itself out at the front end. The top 4 breaking away. Leaning still in front from Freer, from Goff, and Will Leaning tucked in on the back. Will having a better ride in race 2 than he did in race 1. Down through Hizzies, looking to make that move on Angus Goff at the first opportunity. Freer now just edging through into the lead. Tony Wastage under pressure from John O'Toole, and Reese Rothwell having a much better ride. Now we're looking for the 125 machine. There he is, retiring out of it again. Richie Molnar having a disastrous weekend, DNFing in the first race of the day. The leaders come through, and it is Graham Freer just at the front from Josh Leaning. Angus Goff still under pressure from Will Leaning, and that is the way the order will be at the showing of the checkered flag. 51, Adam Campion will go on to win the sportsman class. Under pressure here from Jodie Chalk. Brett Haley in the middle of the sandwich, the 3-way battle there that's been raging all the way through, will go on to take the senior victory. Checkered flag time, and it will be Graham Freer from Leaning by just 0.01 of a second. Goff and Will Leaning third and fourth. Graham Freer takes the honours for the elites. It'll be Brett Haley in the middle of the podium for the seniors, and victorious in the sportsman, Adam Campion. Championship points then for the elites. Graham Freer now leads on 155 from Josh Leaning on 140. Angus Goff third on 115. Sportsman championship points, Matt Shaw at the top on 160 from Sam Palfreyman, 123, and number 60, Liam Kirk on 121. And finally for the seniors, it's Chris Kingham just heading away at the front from Roddy Taylor on 104 and Brett Haley on 90. Super Twins and Stock Twins up next for the Kramer Motorcycles round 2 here at Oulton Park. And after a very hectic qualifying session, we will end up with Johnny Towers, the lap record holder, on pole position. Alongside him will be the Austrian Lukas Wimmer, and alongside him, completing the front row, number 26, Dan Taylor. watch the lights is the signal. We are about to go racing for the first time for the Super Twins and Stock Twins. Good start from Johnny Towers with Lucas Wimmer. Again, Wimmer's first visit to the circuit, and here they come down through Cascades. Towers leads from Wimmer. From Madeiro making up a place or two there, and Dan Taylor down to fourth. As the rest of the pack stream through up towards Ireland and Shell. Towers it is with Wimmer. They've already broken away from Madeiro. Then it looks like the number 10 machine next up. That is the Irishman James Chalk coming over from Limerick. As the rest of the pack come through. And a little coming together there between 53 Tim Sayers and 34 Ian McGann. But both survive and continue. Towers across the line, still being chased hard by Wimmer, Madeiro, Taylor and Chalk in 5th position. Johnny Towers down through hises in the course of this race. Broke his own lap record, set a new lap record time of 1:45.438. 27 and 19, Carl Mitchell and Neil Schofield, 2nd and 3rd in the stocks, which is being led by Stephen Taylor. Towers now opening up the advantage over Wimmer by a considerable margin. Dan Taylor retires out of it into Gasoline Alley, leaving Greg Madeiro in a comfortable 3rd position on the TrickBit Suzuki. Dan Kappa and Jacques Foley come down in 5th and 6th position. Checkered flag time for Johnny Towers, celebrates across the line with a great victory from Lucas Wimmer and Greg Madeiro. For the stock class, it is Stephen Taylor that will take the honours. Onto the grid for race 2, and Johnny Towers looking to make it 2 out of 2. Lucas Wimmer in 2nd place, but a gap there as you can see, and that is the gap where Dan Taylor should be. Unfortunately a non-starter in this one. Greg Madeiro gets a very good start indeed off the 2nd row and down towards Old Hall. But by the time they get down to Cascades, it is Towers already in that dominant number 1 position, with Lucas Wimmer in 2nd, Greg Madeiro in 3rd. Towers, Wimmer, Madeiro and the Irishman, James Chalk, now again looking to improve on his earlier race positions. Battle still going on further down the order. Go away and climb back up the hill. A problem for the 49 machine, and that is David Stiff, being helped away by the marshals. Leaders are back across the line. And there's Dan Taylor, spectating on the wall, look, getting a lovely suntan as Johnny Towers comes through. Lucas Wimmer has retired out of the race, promoting Greg Madeiro to 2nd, Chalk to 3rd, and Kappa up into 4th position. The number 2 machine is the leader in the Stock Twins of Stephen Taylor, followed by Neil Schofield and 27 Carl Mitchell. And Mitchell will move through to 2nd by the checkered flag. Johnny Towers completes another lap and will go on to take the victory by 32.59 seconds. Greg Madeiro in 2nd and makes a little bit of a mistake. Does he? No, he's got a machine problem and Madeiro is out of it. What a disaster for him. That promotes up into 2nd place Jamie Chalk, and Kappa will be 3rd. Dan Kappa on his way to a podium position as Towers takes the victory. James Chalk, the Irishman, will be 2nd, and Dan Kappa comes across the line 3rd. 4th will be Stock Twin winner Steve Taylor.
I just decided I was going to do 8 laps as fast as I could, no rolling off. And yeah, I'm over the moon. Thank you, Sid.
100% from Johnny Towers then. 2 wins out of 2 starts in the Super Twins, and likewise in the Stock Twins for Steve Taylor. 2 great wins today. Championship points, Johnny Towers leads the Super Twins on 190 with Lucas Bimmer second on 110. James Chalk now up into third on 105 and Greg Madero fourth on 100. For the Stock Twins, Steve Taylor at the top on 181. Carl Mitchell now second on 131 and Neil Schofield completes the top three on 129. The RST Super Teens at Oulton Park, the championship especially for the younger runners, and we've had some great racing already this season. Championship leader is Harry Lee. After qualifying, Harry has planted the machine on that pole position, looking very confident indeed. Alongside him is Max Lofthouse, and completing the front row, Cameron Dawson, Louis Rendell, Cameron Hall and Kyle Tinker on row 2. Watch the lights. Oh, and a great start from Lofthouse and everybody else, but the pole sitter, Harry Lee, and we've seen this before from Harry, doesn't quite get away as he would like to. Down through Cascades, Max Lofthouse leads from Cameron Dawson, and in third, Cameron Hall. Harry Lee in fourth position. As they come back into our sight though, Harry Lee has taken up the running from Max Lofthouse in second and Cam Dawson there in third, climbing all over the back of Lofthouse but can't make it work just yet. It looks like Cameron Hall still there in fourth position as they go away and up and over the stripe. And here comes Dawson trying to look around the outside. Lots of mums and dads and friends on the wall there cheering the riders on as Lee comes down. Lofthouse still hanging on to that second place. Dawson climbing all over the back of him. And then we've got the 101 machine of Louis Rendell coming into shot now as well. But this is Lofthouse looking absolutely first class as he goes through the chicane. 33 is Iliam Quayle. He was just led through there, I believe, by Carl Tinker. Over the line, Harry Lee opening up a massive gap, but a great battle behind. Still Lofthouse just hanging in there, but don't discount Rendell, I think, is the answer here. Harry Lee on the Luke Hopper machine from last season. Just beautifully glides that machine through. Way through to the right-hander. Meantime, Rendell has now moved up into third place, so Lofthouse has got the work to do. Cameron Dawson still there in a comfortable fourth, looking for a podium. Checkered flag comes out. Harry Lee takes the victory and the double points. Second will be Lofthouse and third will be Louis Rendell. Harry Lee on the podium then, taking the honours. Race 2 for the RST Super Teams comes to the grid, and our race 1 winner is there on pole again. Harry Lee looking to improve on his start, shall we say. This time the lights are on and they go off, and it is a much better start for Lee, but Lofthouse has gone with him as well, and it looks like Cam Dawson possibly got a very good start as they go down towards Old Hall. Down into Cascades they come, and it's Lee from Lofthouse, from Rendell, Dawson, and then the number 8 machine of Cam Hall. Harry Lee already breaking away, and Louis Rendell now up to second, Max Lofthouse third, and Cameron Dawson goes through on the bright orange and white machine in fourth position. Harry Lee off into the sunset as the rest of the machines come across the line, and Louis Rendell there in second position, Max Lofthouse still third. Harry Lee again in a lovely slow-mo shot down through the chicane. but out on his own in this late afternoon sunshine. Here is the battle for second, and it is Rendell. A change there as well, because Dawson has gone up in front of Lofthouse. Hall can do no more. And a couple of crashes there. That's Cam Dixon and 83 Harris Beach, both okay, as the leaders go through yet again. And Harry Lee has already gone through and way on his way. This is Harry Lee again on the superb looking machine, on his way towards the second victory of the day for him, and of course 2 lots of points. 41 Carl Tinker and 92 Caleb Smith having a great little battle a bit further down the order. Checkered flag time, and it will be Harry Lee that takes that victory from Louis Rendell in second, and a hard chasing Cameron Dawson.
Yeah, absolutely over the moon. Came into the championship second, becoming the lead now.
Presentation time for our top 3 then. Harry Lee, Louis Rendell and Cameron Dawson. And if we move on to the points, it's exactly the same at the top. Harry Lee leads on 175 from Louis Rendell on 152 and Cam Dawson 109. Thundersport 500 Freshman and Cup from Oulton Park, race 1. Machines come to the grid. Pole sitter is number 118, Martin Basley. Very nice close up there of Martin, looking very confident. And alongside him on the far side of the grid is 20, Josh Langham. Watch the lights. A very equal start there off the front row. It was Rick Jenkinson in the middle of the front row as well. And we are now on board with George Powell. Very tight in fact, and Jenkinson using the track and a little bit more comes back across. And Scott Brocklebank also in there in that little melee at the start as they come down through the long sweeper of Cascades. We are still on board with George Powell. Change of leaders at the front, and it's Jenkinson now that takes over from Basley. George Powell back into 3rd position. Langham, the eventual race winner, losing a place there, dropping down to 5th position. Right and left hander of his as another rider goes straight on at the chicane, and look at this, 4 abreast as they come across the line. Absolutely neck and neck racing, as is always with the 500s. George Powell up into 2nd position, and again we're on board with Powell, and he goes for the lead and takes the lead from Jenkinson. So Powell will lead the race very, very briefly. Langham up the inside, and the 64 machine of Jenkinson round the outside as they come down into the chicane again. Good battle going on further down the order. That is Clive Mindham, who will go on to win the senior category. And now on board with George Powell, and that is the end of George Powell's race, unfortunately. Thanks, George, for your great onboards, and not the way you wanted it to finish, I'm sure. Race leader then, now on his way to take the victory, and that will be the 20 machine, the ASJ Josh Langham entered machine. Under pressure from Rick Jenkinson, but Jenkinson unable to do anything by the time they get to the checkered flag. So Langham takes the victory by 1.4 seconds from Jenkinson and Basley. A very happy Josh Langham. Clive Mindham takes the honours in the 500 Cup. We move on to the second race of the day. Pole position exactly as it was earlier on. And a bit of a rapid start there for Martin Basley. Front wheel claw in the air. You can just see how close the racing is here though, on board with George Powell. as we go down on this first lap into Old Hall. And a fantastic entry. Just look at these machines coming down through the Cascade section and up towards Island Bend. On board again with George Powell. Things starting to sort themselves out. He almost makes the position there on Tom Ratcliffe, but that is not to be. Ratcliffe gets the better as they exit his and come back to the start-finish line. And that is Jenkinson from Langham and Brocklebank having a better race. Change again at the front. Langham has gone to the lead as the top 6 go through. Ratcliffe has a bit of a problem. Will relegate him way down the order. And this is the battle for the lead. It's Langham versus Jenkinson. Jenkinson just passes Langham again. Great slow-mo shots, but they will not know this yet. Jenkinson has been given a 10-second penalty for a jump start, so that will certainly relegate him way down the order. As we watch Jenkinson just open up that gap just a little bit. And this is the three-way battle for the seniors. 68 Clive Mindham, Gary Wilson 177 and 101 Colin Mooney. Again, Jenkinson and Langham just getting the edge on Jenkinson as they complete another lap. Langham now opening up that advantage, but of course Jenkinson's 10-second penalty will take him way out of the contention here for that second place. The 188 machine of Pete Rhodes comes into Cascades a little bit too hot and goes down, and a very, very lucky Ryan Hoare escapes, goes across the gravel trap and will in fact go on to finish 15th. Gary Wilson comes through, and behind him, absolute carnage as 224 Tim Durham, 18 Rich Connell, and 133 John Wilson all take a tumble. Glad to say all riders are perfectly okay. And the checkered flag comes out, and it will be the win for Langham. Comfortable win in the end by 6 seconds. After the time penalties, Josh Langham takes the win from George Power, Martin Basley and Simon Burgess on the top of the cup podium. Into the points then for the freshman. Martin Basley leads the championship on 86 points from Rick Jenkinson on 76 and Scott Brocklebank on 61. Well, Oulton Park for the ThundersportGB round 2. This is the A&R Racing Continental tyres and pre-national 600s. So as you can see, a lovely sunny April day here, and we will move on to the grid very quickly. The first race of the day was unfortunately cancelled due to operational restraints, and the pre-nationals and the freshman 600 will get a repeat race later in the season, and of course we will bring you that when we are aware of what circuit that will be. Onto the grid then, Freddie Crane, the youngster, 9th in the championship on pole. Alongside him, Luke Turner, number 86, middle of the front row, 6th in the championship, and completing the front row, Steve Thomas, who is the championship leader as they came to Oulton Park today. As we come down through Denton's into Cascades for the first time, it is Crane, the pole sitter, that has already got away after a little bit of a sluggish start, and the rest of the pack comes streaming through down towards Ireland and the infamous Shell Corner. Freddie Crane leads Sean Bailiff as they come down into his. But now on the move is Luke. He's moved up, and look at this little move there. Michael Coxon from the British Army Motorcycle Race Team tries to make the move on the number 14, Dan Jones, but Jones is not having any of that. and off up over towards the water tower. Luke Turner still very much on the charge as he completes another lap and looking to move up the leaderboard as far as he possibly can. Pitboards coming out, giving the riders their positions. Freddie Crane then comes through, still leading, but under a lot of pressure from the freshman championship leader, Sean Bailiff. Great shot there. Looking back, Kings and Ho, but here comes the two brothers, Dan and Kieran Forbes. And Dan up the inside, just makes the move on his brother. On board with Callum Scott. And Callum going extremely well there. You see him pass one rider and round the outside of another as they go through Dearsley. Freddie Crane still at the front. You can see Turner very much closer now on the back of Bailiff. So Turner runs in second position in the championship. And now Turner up into second, right behind Crane. Turner will go on to take the victory by just 0.4 of a second from Freddie Crane. And that will be one of the best rides that Luke Turner's had this year. Kings and Ho leads through there a whole entourage of riders. Kings and Ho in 7th place, and you can see just how close this racing really is. The top 17 or 18 machines through there, separated by less than 5 seconds. Over the line they come again, and you can see the gaps are opening just a little bit. Pitboard for Kings and Ho, just confirming that position of his. The top 6 come down through Dentons and into Cascades, up again towards Shell. Sean Bailiff goes through there, still leading the freshman, and a bit of a disaster for the number 20 machine, Chris Gill. Rider okay, even gets a chance to turn around and just watch the top 3 come through his. Turner will go on to take the lead just out of our sight before they come back towards us again. On board with Callum Scott, and we're following Kieran Forbes down through his, and whoa, Forbes makes that mistake that we mentioned a little bit earlier on. As you can see, rider perfectly okay, picks up the machine to help the marshals, but looking there, the marshals concerned about the track conditions and obviously indicating, and the red flags have come out to bring the race to a halt due to the pollution on the circuit. So Luke Turner will take the victory from Freddie Crane, and Sean Bailiff in 3rd position. On to the podiums then, and for the pre-nationals, the top 3, Luke Turner, Freddie Crane and Stefan Ellis, and for the freshmen it was Sean Bailiff, Ryan Whitehall and Richard Gill. Points then, Steve Thomas on 100 points, Luke Turner on 89 and Stefan Ellis on 72 for the pre-national Sport 600. For the pre-national freshman 600, you can see Sean Bailiff still at the top, 150 points, Richard Gill second, 104, and Ben Grayson on the Kawasaki, 74.
Continental, get the grip.